Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to address some statements that came to me from people watching my video yesterday about Biden trying to ban ghost guns and how I am opposed to it. A lot of people in the gun community, or at least a very loud minority in the gun community, don't seem to understand why anyone would support ghost guns. They're like, why would you support these P80s and these 80%ers? They present such a risk. The wrong people can get these so easily and do bad things with them. And when you support them, you just look like some savage gun owner that doesn't give a shit about who dies as long as you still get your toys. And they just, keep going on with that whole thing of we shouldn't support these because the wrong kind of people can get them and supporting them makes us look bad and blah, blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of FUD stuff. I hate to break it to you. If you don't support 80%ers, you're a FUD. It's just like the guys back in the day saying, we don't need semi-automatic rifles. Nobody needs those. Those are dangerous. People kill a lot of people with them. And if we support that, we look like monsters. Those FUDs of yesteryear are now replaced with the same FUDs, the same type of FUD today. They just have different things that they're upset about or different things they oppose. And none of them understand the overall principle. And that's the problem. Because when people ask me, why can I support ghost guns? Quite easily. Here's the thing. I do admit that they're risky. I've said before in videos, hey, when they exist, it does make it likely that someone who couldn't legally buy a gun could get a gun. That I admit. Now, would that person use it in an illegal act? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. And if that 80%er hadn't been available to that person that had that gun, would they have not committed a crime? They probably still would have committed the crime. In fact, you could just say that's one less person who got burglarized for a gun because a criminal was able to get a gun a different way. But, even let's say that they would still they wouldn't commit the crime without the ghost gun, but they do now that they have it. I still accept that danger because the principle of freedom is worth it. Especially when you look at what's going on right now with ghost guns, and at the very most, it is a tiny little fraction of a percentage point when it comes to overall crime. You could probably find just as many people that were killed with wooden spoons, and we don't go around saying, oh, we got to get rid of wooden spoons because of the risk. Same thing with ghost guns. It's not a measurable amount of crime. So it's not really something that's worthy of saying, hey, you all got to surrender some rights to battle this problem. Because that's what happens every time they do something like this. The result is always, hey, you're going to surrender some rights so that we can protect you. So if you accept the danger that ghost guns present, then you have to accept that we have to protect you, so you're going to surrender some rights. No, that's not true. Sometimes you can accept danger as a cost of freedom. And this is one of those cases. Now, some people would say ghost guns aren't important enough to make that battle over. Why fight that fight? Well, it's because they are important. The principle is the same every time. It's always, we're going to create a situation, we're going to try to make you think it's more dangerous than it actually is, and then we're going to get you to surrender rights so that we can protect you. That's the game of the politicians. I refuse to play that game. I support gun rights fully. I think every free person should be able to have a gun with no background check, nothing. If you're a free citizen of the United States, you should be able to exercise your rights. If you're dangerous, you should be in jail. And as far as people that get into situations where they're not really bad people, they're just in bad situations, we should deal with the situations, not the tools. And I will never bend myself to deal with that issue or any issue in a way that the politicians want to make you deal with it. They want to create a false, dangerous scenario. And I'm not saying the scenarios never present danger to individuals, but they're not ever as dangerous as the government presents them. And I say that they're a false scenario because the government creates the situation to make the dangerous scenario. They like to let dangerous people out of jail and then go, look, if we allow you people to be free, they'll have the same rights. And if they get those same rights, they'll be dangerous. It's kind of like they did with black people after the end of slavery. They said, well, everybody has all these rights, but now the black people are going to have them too. We better start taking special measures to make sure they don't get them. So you all might have to surrender some of your rights. And that's how gun laws came around. They're doing the same thing now. In fact, yesterday when Biden did his little thing, the one incident he spoke about was, black guy with a gun that shouldn't have had it. Just more racism. And I don't want to play that game. You can't create a dangerous situation and then pretend like you got to take our rights away from us to fix it. Stop creating the dangerous situation. If people are too dangerous to be out of jail, keep them in jail. Stop putting people in jail for low-level drug offenses and these other morality-based bullshit laws. Stop having prisons for profit where it makes more sense for them to keep those low-level offenders in and let the dangerous people out because they're harder to take care of and they cost more. Stop doing that. That would solve a lot of the problems we have crime-wise in this country. A lot of the people who commit heinous crimes, it's not their first time. So if they had never just been kicked out of the system the first time, they probably wouldn't have done what they did the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth time. Instead of just allowing gangs to be a big problem and then say, ooh, we don't want the gangs to get guns, so you have to surrender your guns, do something about the gangs. Crack down on them legally, put them in jail, keep them in jail. Also, let's try to stop their flood of people that they get, these disenfranchised young people that fill their ranks. Let's stop that. Let's start presenting inner city youth and other youth with better job opportunities, better education opportunities, better after school stuff. That would solve the problem without anyone surrendering any rights. And it would actually benefit people. It would reduce that dangerous element that everyone's afraid of, that one that they surrender their rights because of. Make politicians do that. Even domestic violence. How about we create a system where people aren't as downtrodden? One of the reasons domestic violence happens a lot is because people feel like it's the only thing they have in their life is their relationship. They have a 9-to-5 job where they work paycheck to paycheck. Possibly they might not even be able to get from paycheck to paycheck without their spouse. So when they start having marital issues, instead of acting like adults and working them out, they panic. And someone ends up getting hurt. They latch on to each other. People aren't taught at a young age because parents are too busy trying to survive paycheck to paycheck. They aren't taught how to deal with things emotionally. Maybe we should do more of that in society. We wouldn't have as much domestic violence. And plus, if people were more likely to be financially viable on their own, we wouldn't see as much stuff like that either. There's just all kinds of things we can do to get rid of the dangerous element instead of using them as an excuse to make people surrender rights. But politicians create those dangerous situations. They want there to be gangs. They want there to be high levels of domestic violence. They want there to be poverty-ridden areas. They want all these things to happen so that they can scare you into letting them maintain power. The people who run our country, they don't live like us, except they have a different job. They live in an elite society, and that society is built on the suffering of our society. And if they ever feared that we would start banding together and saying, hey, we're not that different. They're the ones that are a lot different than us. We need to do something about taking them down a peg or two. They would panic. And that's why they put the criminals out there. That's why they keep society as it is. That's why they want people on the verge all the time so that they will fight amongst themselves over petty issues. And that's the game politicians play. I won't play that game, not even with ghost guns. I accept the risk that they present, but I don't accept the reasoning that the politicians put forward for why we should surrender our rights. It's like the thing in the subway recently. Instead of saying, yeah, we created a situation where a guy just walks into a subway and can shoot as many people as he wants because, it's a disarmed society in New York. Instead of saying that, we're going to put more police down there. You're going to see a heavy police presence. We're going to monitor every second of your day. And you're going to surrender those rights willingly. You're going to be glad when you see those 15 cops that harass you as you're walking in with a backpack, or harass you because you're the wrong color, or harass you for this, and are watching your every move. You're going to be like, oh, I live in a police state now, and it's awesome because I'm safe. That's the game they play. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to compromise. Like some people say, just make it like we won't compromise. We've compromised for decades. Now it's time we start getting our rights back instead of giving them away. It's time for the other side to compromise. And it's time for us, like I said, as a people, to say, instead of creating a dangerous situation and then using that to fulfill your own desires, either deal with the dangerous situations, make a better life for people in this country, or step aside and let someone else do your job because you can't do it. So that's why I support ghost guns, because I believe in the greater overall principle of freedom, and because I'm sick of the games politicians play, and I want to stop playing them, and I want to start holding them accountable. And I hope more people will do that, because if we do, I think we'll become more united as a people, and they'll be the ones to suffer, not us, for a change. All right, after that long ramble, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'm already late today because of power outages, because it's still snowing here. So I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming today. I do appreciate it. I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone to always carry and stay safe until I see you again. I am a grown-ass man.